It is another creative writing class. Children, how are you today? I hope you are all doing well. Great. We are going to continue our class on story writing, but today we are going to plan our story. So our topic today is planning a story. At the end of this class, you will be able to plan the plot of a story using story structures. So today we are going to plan our story using story structures. In our previous class, do not forget that we said we have the structures of a story, and they are the characters, the setting, and the plot. And again, the characters are the people, the animals, or images in the story, whereas the setting is the time, the place, the weather in the story. So today we are going to use these structures to plan our story plot, and then also we're going to also review the meaning of a plot. So, are you ready to plan your story today? Come on, let's go and plan our story. Okay, so now we're going to review the plot. But before then, another review of some of the story structures. And they are the characters and setting. Characters are the people, the images or animals in the story. Then the setting is the place, the time, the weather, the geographical location of the story. So the setting is the time. Is the word the time. Again, setting is the place, the location of the story. So now let's look at the plot. Every story must have a plot. What then is a story plot? Plot is the organized pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. What does it mean? It means how the events in your story happen. All the events. There must be the beginning and there must be an end to a story. What happened first, next, and last. So plot is the pattern or sequence of events that make up a story. Every plot is made up of different incidents that are related to one another. So you have a lot of events, but they are all related. Okay? Again, plot is the sequence of events. There must be the beginning of your story, and you must create the climax where your readers would like to see what will happen next or read what will happen next. And also, every story must have a problem. How do you create the problem? And then how do you solve the problem? Now let's look at the diagram and use the diagram to illustrate the story plot. Okay, this is plot diagram. So the story starts from exposition. Here, what do you do? The beginning of the story, where characters and setting are introduced. So you introduce your characters using descriptive words. You have to describe your characters. Also, you have to describe your setting. So from there, you move to the rising action, where the main character faces a series of conflicts. Again, every story must have a problem. So this is where you create the problem. Then you now come to the climax, the peak, the most exciting part of the story when we learn the outcome. So you must always create the climax of your story. Why? So that you can sustain the interest of your readers. Then from the climax, the story starts, the event will start coming down. You have the falling action, events leading to the end of the story. And then finally you have resolution, the end of the story. How the story, or what we will call the end of your story. How the problem, or how you solve the problem in the story. So again, the story pattern, it must begin, and then you climb, and you start coming down, and then finally come down. The first one is the exposition, where you introduce the characters and the setting using descriptive words, and then it will start going up, where the main character faces conflict. You come to the climax and you start descending, coming down to the end of the story. Great! I hope with this you are going to plan an interesting story for me. I trust you. Okay, so you are going to use this worksheet as a guide to plan your story. Use this to plan your story. Then in the next class, we are going to start writing our story. For your classwork, you have Nelson English Book 11. Then after doing that, you have your extended work. Use the draft work to write a story about a character called Hirian, who makes a journey by a car to visit his brother. Use not less than 4 paragraphs to write. Till I see you in the class. Bye.